BMW, Mercedes, and Audi are not made for used car buyers. And I've got a master in business administration, but you don't need a business degree to understand how car manufacturers make their money. They make their money by selling their newly made, brand new cars to dealerships. And BMW, Mercedes, and Audi really take this one step further, and I'm going to explain exactly why you don't want to be buying these cars in the used car market outside of warranty. Within warranty is okay. Outside of warranty, guys, you don't want to be touching this. And whenever I make a video like this, I do get a lot of people who get offended, right? A lot of German car enthusiasts. I'm a car enthusiast. I'm in my Toyota GR Yaris right now, but I've owned my BMW as well. But I do like to portray the facts as they are. And the truth is, guys, for the average Joe, not the car enthusiast perhaps, but for the average Joe, you've got to stay away from German cars in the used car market. I'm going to break it down for you. Number one thing, German cars are usually luxury cars. And they're designed for that luxury experience. And how does it work, guys? Well, most of these cars are leased. They're the ultimate leasing machines. And leases make it easy for these owners to constantly own a car for 3 years or so, trade it in, and then get the next model. And that runs through the ethos of these cars. They're not designed to target buyers who are going to hold them for a long time. That's not where their market is, right? The majority of them are leased, and hence they focus on that leasing period, that 3 to 5 year period. And they make sure that the buyer that purchases that car is very happy during that period with all the new tech, all the performance, all the innovations. The number two thing you need to understand is they cater their entire maintenance and servicing schedule around that new car buyer. With BMW, Mercedes, Audis, guys, and I've got a lot of mates, and I had my BMW as well. A feedback that I received from many people when they buy these used German cars, they notice that the servicing intervals are all out of whack. Often these cars are serviced every 2 years, guys. The first year is more of a checkup, and then the second year an oil change is done. And the kilometers are ludicrous. These cars often are getting serviced at 20,000 kilometers. It's no good, guys, but that's how the experience is designed, that servicing and maintenance experience. And certainly in that 3-year period or even a 5-year period, these manufacturers are not asking you to change any major oils or do any major maintenance, right? I've got my Toyota GR Yaris here, Toyota, making me service this car 6 months, right? On a 6-monthly basis, which, yeah, which isn't exactly a luxury experience, but Toyota's serious about this car. Just next week, I've got to take it in for my transfer case fluid, my diff fluid, and then they want you to change your coolant very often as well. With German cars in that 3-year period, guys, they don't want you touching anything. And then that experience is further improved by giving you these service plans. A lot of these German cars come with these service plans where they throw in free services for the first 3 or 5 years. And I speak to many owners, many of them are my good friends, and it's always funny when I see someone buy a BMW. One of my friends, he bought a BMW, and it's $130,000 M2. And he bought that M2, and he comes to me, he said, he doesn't tell me what the M2 is about. The first thing he says is, "Can you believe BMW gave me this service plan for the first 5 years? I don't have to pay anything, I just take it in." And I'm thinking, mate, they're making all their money off you already. Who cares about that service plan? Services are pretty cheap for German cars, especially in that warranty period. That's how they get you. They design that service plan for those owners. So, you just call up, say, "Can you please book in my service?" Get the car serviced, and you don't have to worry about invoices, negotiation, payments, anything. It's made for that new car buyer. And the only thing the new car buyer needs to worry about, and it's something they won't even see on paper, is a depreciation. The funny thing about depreciation is, if you think about it, guys, does it really exist? Because it's not on your bank account. You don't open your banking app and see, "Oh, geez, my car lost $10,000 this year." You don't see that. Depreciation is only worried about when you come to sell your car, and often these cars are on leases. They're rolled over. Often these people, they've been used to that depreciation. They know they buy their BMW be worth 60 or 70%, maybe 50% of what it was worth brand new, and they'll trade it in, get the next BMW, next Audi, next Mercedes. And that depreciation doesn't worry them because there's no spreadsheet. There's no facts being thrown at them every day. As far as BMW, Audi, and Mercedes are concerned, that first car buyer, that new car buyer, they're having a great experience. They're getting these services often free. They're getting this nice luxury experience, and they're getting this prestige, right? In Australia, a lot of the dealerships who sell these cars call themselves prestige dealerships. And I don't personally believe that these are prestige cars any longer. I think, if anything, in my view, the likes of Toyota or Honda should really be prestige cars because they represent quality in a way that not many other cars out there do. But I digress. That's my personal view. So I've broken down for you exactly what the manufacturers do, and I've told you exactly why they're so good for new car buyers. But it's exactly those reasons that make them poor buying for used car buyers, especially outside of warranty. In warranty, I'm okay with. Outside of warranty, it hurts. Remember that servicing interval, 1 to 2 years. Now you're the used car buyer. What do you have? You've got an engine full of gunk because it was using old oil. Make no mistake, guys, these synthetic oils, a lot of people, they get into these arguments, and I'm an engineer. A lot of people get into these arguments that synthetic oils are so much more superior to the older oils, the more natural-based oils we used to use in automotive applications, and that's true, certainly that's true. But oil is oil. It's not a superhuman liquid. And even with your synthetic oil, if you go outside and check after 15,000 kilometers, it's going to be gunky. And guys, I was speaking to my mechanic, and he had a BMW M4 M3 in the shop. And at 70,000 kilometers, he said he was having to replace a motor for one of his customers. And the reason? Excessively long oil change intervals. Right? It destroyed that BMW. It was so gunked up, it was beyond repair. The car is effectively done for. The second thing is, again, maintenance related, right? For the first 3 to 5 years, the owners, they enjoy that really nice maintenance interval, which doesn't make them change many fluids, doesn't make them change many parts. Well, guess what, guys? Now you've got your used German car, 5, 6 years old. If you're a smart owner, you should really be doing all of the things. Transfer case, diff fluid, your all-wheel drive fluid, coolant. You've got to be doing all of this stuff. And if you don't, it can have repercussions. And not only that, you now run into the German car maintenance. And for German cars, guys, a lot of things you wouldn't think are maintenance is, right? I'm talking about water pumps. I'm talking about plastics. I'm talking about gaskets. Often these gaskets are very highly biodegradable. That's going to be maintenance. Pads and rotors. You're having to change your rotors very often alongside the pads. These cars don't forgive the rotors. So all of a sudden, all those items that made it really good for the new car buyer, well, now it's going to sting you as a used car buyer. And the last thing I really want to touch on, guys, is the element of prestige. And I think this is where a lot of people are getting scammed, because people are sold this dream where they're buying a prestige car. And as I said, I don't think German cars are prestige cars, at least not in Australia, where you can buy an A-class or a CLA class for less than a Corolla, especially in the used car market. Audi A3s sell for less than Corollas. Corolla hybrids hold their value really well. An A3 within warranty certified pre-owned, you're going to pick up cheaper than a Corolla. So I certainly don't think that German cars today are prestige cars, but let's just say they are. Guys, in the used car market, prestige doesn't exist. The whole point of prestige and luxury is getting something new, getting something shiny. And a lot of people are sold this false dream and this false reality that you get this prestige car, and really what they've got on their garage now is a used car, and a car that's going to be trouble for them. A car that's going to take a lot of money to keep on the road. It's a reality. I went through this with my BMW. From a probability perspective, guys, it's not sort of bound to be a great run, especially as you get higher in the years, 8, 9 years. Everyone knows, even the German car fans, which I am a German car fan, even those people, they know that a Corolla or a Camry or any of the Toyotas are going to be a safer bet once a year's roll on. There is nothing prestigious about repairs. There is nothing prestigious, in my view, about buying these used German cars, especially for the average Joe. And that's why, guys, they are built for the new car buyer. And the new car buyer must pay a tax, and that tax is excessive depreciation. But if they do pay that tax, they get one of the best machines that money can buy. Certainly, I'm not here to argue that a Toyota drives better than a BMW, Audi, Mercedes, or looks better, or has better features, or has better innovation. No. But if you can't afford it new, guys, you probably can't afford it used. I hope that helps. I'll catch you next time.